So today we will be discussing a sutta called Vatthu Sutta, and we have a topic in mind: the best support and companionship. Companionship, according to the Vatthu Sutta. Now, the best support and companionship is what we're gonna look at from the sutta. So, the term, the Pali word Vatthu has multiple meanings. Vatthu, it could be wealth, it could be properties, it could be something you have. But in this sutta's context, it's about support. Okay, let me read the Pali stanzas to make sure that we're talking the exact, precise, authentic Buddhist teachings. Kinsu vattu manussanang, kinsu da paramo sakha, kinsu bhutu pajivanti, ye pana pataving sitati. As we've been, discussing suttas which went as discussions between the deities and the Buddha. So this is one other sutta like that. It's in very concise form. One stanza, one verse by the deity, and the other verse by the Buddha. So two stanzas. Okay, it's pretty short. So the meaning: what's the support of human beings? What's the support of human beings? What's the best companion here? The creatures who dwell on the earth, by what do they sustain their life? Three questions. What's the support of human beings? What's the best companion here in this life? The creatures who dwell on the earth, by what do they sustain their life? The answer in Pali: Putta vattu manussanang, bharyava paramo sakha, vutting bhutu pajivanti, ye pana pataving sitati. Children are the support of human beings. A wife, the best companion. The creatures who dwell on the earth sustain their life by rain. Okay, so here are a few things, right? So children, they are the best support for human beings, and the best companion is wife. The creatures who dwell on the earth, including us, we sustain our life by rain. So that's another perspective of how we sustain our life. So rain, water, right? So before we go into discuss about different answers given by the Buddha about support, companion, and by what do many beings sustain, I want to mention that throughout the Buddhist teachings, Buddha talks the truth in two ways, as I already told you, with the conventional truth and with the ultimate truth. Now, this is a place where Buddha talks about the conventional truth of the life. Now, if we look at some other suttas, some other stanzas where we find the ultimate truth, Buddha says some other different teachings. Now, for example, in one stanza in the Dhammapada we find what's the stanza? Putta matti dhanam matti iti balu vihanyati. So the idiot, the stupid person thinks that I have sons and I have wealth, and it's kind of a foolish, unwise type of thinking, feeling. Atta hi attanu nati, we don't have our body even for us, because we're gonna leave the body and we die, we go with the consciousness into the next life. Kuto putta, kuto dana. If that is the reality, so then how we going to say we have sons, children, and we have wealth? So that's the truth from the ultimate aspect. But here the truth is from the conventional aspect. So we don't need to mess this up. To be very careful. Okay, let's go into the answer that given by the Buddha. Why children are the support of human beings? Now we have to be careful, because Buddha talks about this best support of the human beings from within the Indian context. At that time, people were looking for a child for their generation. But as the world has been rapidly changing, this has different ideas. Like when it comes to the West, people don't have the same feeling, right? So when it comes to having a kid, it has a lot of other things involved, So let's discuss about it. But based on the Indian context, it's good. Buddha says it's good to have children. Even in the West, I don't think there's any harm to have a child, because there is someone. Even though we have all the other facilities and things, we don't want to worry, that we don't want to expect from a son or a daughter, but still it's a human interaction, right? So there's someone who is next to us, there's someone who we can keep in touch all the time, right? So there's no harm. But anyway, there are different thoughts about it, but Buddha says based on the Indian context, children could be the best support for the human beings, because as they age, they need some support, and there were no infrastructure, there were no government-based support, senior citizen support at that time. Could have been recent. And then when it comes to the best companion, it's the wife, right? So a wife is the best companion. Now, the same thing. When we talk about wife, a companion, let's say a spouse, could be gender friendly, right? Yeah. For a woman to have a man, a man to have a woman. So it's like a spouse. Spouse is the best companion. So Buddha doesn't talk about whether they are married or not married, maybe common in law, whatever, whoever. But anyway, that one regards there's someone who is there for that person, right? So this may also be a problem in some cultures, because there is not this thought always, getting promoted. We should marry. This is also a debatable thing. Some people don't think they need to marry. There are different things involved when it comes to different cultures. But anyway, if the spouse, if the partner is really good, and that's the best companionship, So it's a really good thing. Buddha talks about 7 types of spouses. Because when he went to give a talk to a banker's house, and he heard there was a woman who was yelling at a servant in a house, and Buddha said, this is not the real nature, a good nature of a good spouse, in that case a good wife. He talks about 7 types of spouses. Vadaka, troublesome spouse. Chora, robber spouse. Ayya, master spouse. So they are kind of like unhappy spouses, Let's say troublesome spouse, always like troublemaker, finding trouble, making things into a trouble, putting the other spouse into trouble. The robber is always, squandering your money, taking your money away all the time, and she doesn't care about, she doesn't have a good use of the money that the both one of them is earning. It's a problem, right? At the end of the month, at the end of the day. Master spouse is someone who wants to dominate, what would be the right word for that in the Western context? Let's say someone
It
who
is
is
dominating.
dominating, yeah, dominating, dominating spouse. Always want to,
That's the right.
want to be the master. Not in a way that one can take care of the family in a peaceful, friendlier way, but everybody else has to, or maybe the other spouse has to always to listen to this person. Buddha did not appreciate these three types of spouses. And there could be other types of spouses. Mathu, motherly type of spouse, is not like the exact mother, but has the nature of a mom, like taking care of the children. Sisterly type of spouse is like a sibling, always taking care of the other spouse, like a sibling. Friendly type of spouse who's always friendly, like a friend, the best friend. It's something like the spouses have a very friendly type of relationship, life. Always open up, can discuss anything, always friendly. Otherwise, the two spouse both have to find other friends for this thing, right? They are just in a spousal relationship, and they want to have other friends. What if like the spouses themselves become friends all the time? So pretty easy. But I don't think this is a good thing. The last type of spouse, slave type of spouse. Sometimes there are some spouses who always would like to be uh, the victim of getting dominated by the other spouse. Maybe for different reasons. Not everybody is able to have a good type of relationship, but sometimes can happen. So anyway, there are 7 types of spouses that Buddha appreciated. Buddha didn't appreciate it. So anyway, spouse is a good companion. So it's the best companion. So if the spouse is the best companion, so that life goes very smoothly. What about the rain? The creatures who dwell on the earth sustain their life by rain. Now we know the scientific definition of the rain. Rain is liquid water in the form of droplets that have condensed from atmospheric water vapor and then become heavy enough to fall under gravity. So rain is a big thing. Now this again relates to the climate change, right? Because we have to protect and then take care of the environment. Buddha says all the time, don't cut the trees, but cut the defilements, which trouble us. Don't cut the trees, but cut the defilements, like greed, hatred, delusion, and that stuff. So basically, the sustenance of the life of many beings on this earth predominantly based on the water. So water is such a very the best support in terms of the sustenance of the living beings. Now we know, like, because of the what do you call that? Pollution, right? Different type of pollution. We know that those glaciers are melting, right? So and it in turns has an impact on the ocean. So it connects from one to one. So water is such a good thing, but in this highly industrialized world, we have we cannot like single out the environment, right? Nowadays, people look at human beings, animals, environment. They are as being separate stuff. But when we want to plan, especially this impacts the decisions of the politicians as well as the normal people who are responsible for them. So usually in the past it was not a big deal. There were enough resources, but nowadays we have a shortage of the resources. If you really look at the big resources, so the people, when they even not the politicians, including us, because we have a bigger role as well, when we plan ahead about our role towards other human beings, animals and the environment. We can't single out, okay, animal we're going to have a less concern, human beings more concern, environment kind of a different concern. So we can't do this anymore. So we have to have this equal concern for all the aspects because they all are interconnected. So that's why the water has become the best type of support for all the beings in the universe. So that's what Buddha said to the deity. Once again, children are the support of human beings, a spouse the best companion, so I would say the best companionship. The creatures who dwell on the earth sustain their life by rain, so water in turn. In other words, water. So we have to protect, take care. Water, that means it has connection to the environment, forests, rainforests, trees, and everything. So Buddha asks us to pay attention to everything surrounded by us, especially when it comes to resources, individuals, beings. So that's why it said the best support and the companionship according to the sutta called Vatthu. Okay, so any questions about it? The sutta in general?
It was just making the link between the support, companionship, and
Sustenance.
sustenance.
Yeah. I would say support of the living beings on the earth.
And that's water?
There's rain, so it's watering. Yeah.
Rain specifically?
Yeah, it's rain specifically.
Not water, but rain specifically.
Yeah, rain specifically, but it's water as well.
Sustenance.
Yeah, sustenance.
Okay.
Because people can't take care of the rain, people can take care of the water. So,
Oh.
but it in turn connects the rain, right?
Okay.
So people have this responsibility towards water. It in turn, connects to the rain. Maybe people shouldn't do bad things like bad stuff so that they won't get rain.
Okay.
Either that or people shouldn't, pollute the water.
Okay.
Or people should not, destroy the water resources. Mm-hmm.
So, the people who have no children,
Okay.
then they have less support.
Well,
So-
that's what I was trying to distinguish this from the Indian
Argument.
context, like, and the other context. So at that time,
Mhm.
these senior citizens didn't have this kind of a senior support, so they had to,
Mhm.
wish these kind of things.
Yeah.
So Buddha appreciated, right? So nowadays, as the world has been rapidly changing, there is support.
Mhm.
So it doesn't mean everybody should have children,
Mhm.
but there's no harm
Mhm.
in having them too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, having a kid is no harm. So, yeah, having not a kid is also no harm, but it depends on the situation, the context here.
Mhm.
That's what I was telling you. This is not an ultimate type of teaching. If it was ultimate, then it should have been common to East West.
Mhm.
Because this is a conventional teaching, it was basically relevant to the Indian context. But if I view my understanding, I guess there's no harm to have a kid if you really want.
Yeah.
If you know that you can look after,
Yeah.
you can have.
Okay.
But if you don't want, there's no harm too.
Mhm. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's wrap this up by sharing good karmas with the deities and the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas be shared by all the departed relatives who passed away. In the name of all of us, may they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Let's share all the good karmas with the deities who protect and bless all of us. May they be happy and peaceful, and may they protect and bless all of us for all the good things, good health, long life, and all the prosperity. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sampatam punya Sambe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya Ittavata cha ammehi
sampatam punya sampadam
Sambe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya Ittavata cha ammehi sampatam punya
sampadam
Sambe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya Akasatta cha
Ummata
Devanaga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva
Chirang Rakhantu
Tuloka Sasanang Akasattha Chubummatta Devanaga
Mahiddhika
Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Desanang Akasattha
Ummata
Devanaga Mahiddhika Punyantang
Anumoditva
Chirang Rakhantu Mang Paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting so far help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana Silis Vanda Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno
Sukhang Balang
Ayuvarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana
Sampatti
Iminate Saminjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's bow down 3 times to respect